It is time for our Sunday night MLB The Show simulation game of the week. It's game one of a doubleheader. Here on Let's Talk Sports, we're starting things off in the Windy City, the north side of Chicago. Here at Wrigley Field, we've got the Windy City matchup rivalry. The Chicago Cubs taking on the Chicago White Sox. The Cubs have already won the first two games of this series, so let's see if they can get the sweep. The Cubs did sweep this series over the weekend in real life, so let's see what they can do here in this one. As Colin Ray is on the mound for Chicago, or for the Cubs. And here is Chase the shortstop, Chase Mydruff. And Chase Mydruff leads off for the White Sox here in the top of the first inning. First pitch is taken outside for a ball, and we are underway. The Chicago Cubs currently in first place in the NL Central. Up 2 games, I believe, up on the second place St. Louis Cardinals. The White Sox, meanwhile, well, they are not having a good season. Kind of like last year, they were the worst team in baseball last year. This year, they're not as bad, but they're still pretty bad. As Chase grounds out to first base, that is out number 1. Here is the White Sox lineup for you on the screen there. And Miguel Vargas up next for the White Sox. We've already done a White Sox game earlier this year. We got to see them in Sacramento play against the A's. That was a game that the White Sox went on to lose 3-2. Vargas' first pitch to him is a ball. This is game one of a doubleheader. As promised, we are doing 2 games today. The first game here with the White Sox and Cubs. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll do the Subway Series game, the Yankees and the Mets, over in Yankee Stadium. But I guess this weekend was the first quote-unquote rivalry weekend in Major League Baseball. A lot of it was like really interleague rivalries like White Sox-Cubs. Vargas flies out to shallow right. Nico Horner comes in to make the play, and that is out number 2.
Batting third, the designated hitter, Josh Palacios.
And that brings in Josh Palacios. I need to get me a new red pen because the red pen that I have is running out of ink, so let's see if I can get a new one. There we go. Oh, 1 count to Josh Palacios. There's a sinker, strike 2. Lovely day here in Chicago. Is the 0-2 from Colin Ray.
That's a ball.
Cutter up high, ball 1. As I mentioned before, this is the second White Sox related game that I've done on the channel this year. This is the first time we've seen the Cubs, though. So the Cubs are making their Sunday night simulation game of the week debut as they host their crosstown rival White Sox. Here's the 1-2. There's a fly ball to left center field. That ball is going to drop for a base hit. And just like that, the White Sox have the first hit of the game.
Batting fourth, the center fielder, Luis
Palacios is on with Luis Robert coming up. Luis Robert, he was once a top prospect for the White Sox. Came up in 2019, I believe, was when he got called up. If not 2020, or 2020, the 2020 season. Yeah, he got called up in 2020. That is it, foul. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Played in a handful of games in both 2021 and 2022. Didn't play his first 100-game season until 2023, which was his best season. There's a fly ball to left at the wall, and As Hawk Harrelson used to say, you can put it on the board, yes. Luis Robert with a 2-run homer out to left field. And the White Sox take a 2-0 lead. A nice home run for Luis Robert. Out to left field, making it 2-0 White Sox. Seiya Suzuki gave it some chase. He let that one go. And now here comes Josh Rojas with 2 outs, following up. Let's see what he can do following up that home run. Here's a 2-1.
That's a ball.
Sinker taken, ball 3. 3-1 count with Edgar Cuero, the White Sox catcher, due up.
Take your base, ball 4.
And that is taken for ball 4.
Batting 6, the catcher, Edgar Cuero.
Runner on with 2 outs. Here's Edgar Cuero. White Sox already have a 2-0 lead. Edgar Cuero, I think he's probably the best hitter on this White Sox team. As he hits that foul, the count is 0-2. Well, the 2 best players on this team, according to with WAR, is Chase Medroth and Miguel Vargas. Both have a 1.0 WAR. And then on the pitching side, the 2 best pitchers is Shane Smith and Jonathan Cannon, who has the start, or who's getting the start today for the White Sox. Count is 2-2. Fouled off again. Here's the 2-2 to Cuero. That is outside, ball 3. I think these 2 teams have a series later on in July in the south side of Chicago, which is good. So might end up doing another White Sox Cubs game at what's it called? I know it's not U.S. Cellular anymore. It's Guaranteed Rate Field, I think is what it's called. Might have to go there. I think we have a... For my Cardinals franchise, I think we play the White Sox in Chicago this year, so we play. I think the Cardinals play the White Sox this year before they play the Cubs.
That's a ball.
First Cardinal Cubs series isn't until late June, which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Like I kind of like, usually our first Cardinal Cubs series is usually we play them like in either April, sometimes. The latest we would play the Cubs is like May, like late May, early June. No, we don't play them until like the last week of June. 2-1. Elko fouls it off 2-2, but with the way the schedules are now, with all the American League teams playing the National League teams, now that we have like 2 series versus division rivals and stuff, which is kind of dumb. Well, not 2, but it's like 4. Fly ball to center, catch is made, and let's see what the Cubs can do in their half of the first inning. Luis Robert, a towering shot to left field, down the left field line into the corner, making it a 2-0 White Sox lead. And here is Jonathan Cannon on the mound for the White Sox. I believe he was on the mound for when we did our game in Sacramento. No, he was not. That was Davis Martin. I don't know why I thought it was Jonathan Cannon. I think Jonathan Cannon came in to relieve in that game, so... But yeah, Pete Armstrong flies out to left on the first pitch. Here's the Cubs lineup for you. Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, Michael Busch, Carson Kelly hitting 5th. He's the DH. Then Dansby Swanson. Moses Ballesteros is batting 7th. He's catching. Nico Horner and Vital Brujan is the lineup in this one for the Cubs. Here's Kyle Tucker. He was one of a handful of big offseason moves that made over the offseason, was traded over from the Houston Astros. Of course, will be a free agent this coming winter. Or this coming November. So it'll be interesting to see if the Cubs bring him back, or if he'll test the market and try and get paid. Get paid a big old contract. There's a strikeout, 2 away. First strikeout for Jonathan Cannon. That is the second out. And now bring in Seiya Suzuki. He usually plays right field, but today he's playing left field because of Kyle Tucker, since right field was his maiden position in Houston. I think he DH sometimes too, when he was with the Astros. 0-2 pitch to Seiya Suzuki.
Ball.
There's a sinker, ball 1. I think one of the very first simulation games that I did was on MLB 20. I think I did a White Sox Cubs game, but I did it in a Harry Carey voice. Oh my goodness, that was so dumb.
Count is full.
3-2 to Suzuki. I don't think that stream got a lot of views either, so... Oh well. Here's the 3-2.
Miss.
Cutter misses, ball 4. So the Cubs have a runner on with 2 outs. Here's Michael Busch. For those of you who don't remember last year, Michael Busch, we did a Cubs game last year versus the Dodgers, and he hit a home run in that game. You guys can watch that game. Still up on YouTube. I also have a playlist of all of the simulation games from last year. And I'll most definitely have one for this year. As we go to the top of the second, the White Sox lead 2-0.
No, that missed.
Here
That's
against
ball.
their north
1-0.
side rivals, the Chicago Cubs. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert, but I think the winner of this game is going to be from Chicago.
1-1.
Just like the Yankees-Mets game that we'll do later today, or later tonight. I think the winner of that game will be a New York team. See, I think the Yankees won game 1, and then the Mets won game 2, so it'll be interesting to see who wins the third game. I know a lot of people are probably going to be more interested in game 7 of the Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets series tonight. Baldwin hits it foul down the line. Looked like the umpire was going to call it fair for a second. Here's the 1-2. That's a cutter fouled off 2-2. I almost said 3-2. Well, kind of used to 3-2 counts since there's been a handful of walks in this game so far, and we're only in the second inning. Fouled off once more.
That's foul.
Baldwin grounder to Swanson. One away.
Batting up, the right fielder, Michael A. Taylor.
One away, that will bring in
Here, one. 0-1.
one out. Here's Michael A. Taylor. Former National. This guy is with I think he's with the Twins. He was with the Royals. I believe he was in Seattle for a year. No, he was in Pittsburgh for a year. My bad. Nationals, Royals, Twins, Pirates, and then this year he's a Chicago White Sox. And so far, he's not been a very good one either. Hitting .205, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, OPS of 627. There's a strikeout. First one of the day for Colin Ray.
The batter, number 10, shortstop, Chase Mydroth.
And Chase Mydroth, who led off the game with a grounder to first. Steps up once more. But yeah, the Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder series, Game 7 of that is tonight on ABC and ESPN. There's a strike 0-2. Who do you guys think is going to win that game? Denver or OKC? The Nuggets are like a really good team. Like, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to see the Nuggets win the series. Kind of upset the 1 seed. There's a base hit into right center field. That is hit number 3 for the Chicago White Sox, and it will be a 2-out single.
Now batting, the third baseman, Miguel.
For the White Sox shortstop, here's Miguel Vargas, 0 for 1. With a little flare out to right. His last time up. I don't know, what do you guys think? Denver or Oklahoma City? Who is going to play the Timberwolves in the semifinals? And then the Eastern Conference, the eastern side of the bracket, you got the Pacers playing the New York Knicks. That'll be a very entertaining series. Part of me is rooting for the Pacers. For those of you who don't know, I just started getting back into the NBA. And I've decided to start following the Pacers because why the heck not? Why not? Why not be a Pacers fan? Because... And they've been a really fun team to watch this year. Like a really, really fun team. Fouled off 1-2. Miguel Vargas. Trying to keep the top of the second inning going. There's a pop-up. And making the play is Michael Bush, and we go to the bottom of the second inning. Kelly, Swanson, and Ballesteros all due up for the Cubs when we return.
Kelly.
Carson Kelly The Chicago Cubs. Usually he plays catcher, but he's DH today. He's having a really good season with the Cubs. And he starts his second inning off with a base hit. And the Cubs have their first hit of the game.
Batting six, the shortstop, Dansby.
With Dansby Swanson coming up. Dansby Swanson, former Atlanta Braves, signed with the Cubs in 2023.
Ball, that's outside.
There's a cutter outside, ball one. There's a strike, one ball, one count is 1-1. Swanson strikes out, one away. That is the second K
Batting seven, the catcher,
for Jonathan Cannon. And here's Moises Ballesteros. Runner at first, one out. And the home half of inning number two, there's a fastball taken for ball one.
Ball.
There's a circle change, and it's a 3-0 count. Three-0 count. Here comes the 22nd pitch thrown by Cannon. On its way. There's a circle change, strike one. Jonathan Cannon, he's got a sinker, sweeper, cutter, four-seamer, and a circle change in the pitch selection. 3-1. Fastball called, strike two. Who's pitching for the Mets Yankees tonight? Let's see. Did they already play today? Oh, they played 6:10. Oh, that's right. They're on ESPN. David Peterson and Max Fried.
That's a foul ball.
Both the starting pitchers for in the Mets-Yankees game tonight. So it'll be two lefties in that game. 0-1's the count to Horner. That is in the left field. And we have played two full. Here in the north side of Chicago. And it is 2-0 White Sox.
leading off.
Let's see, I want to say something real quick. Okay, he struck it. Okay.
For the White Sox, the designated hitter.
Top of the third inning here at Wrigley Field. Josh Palacios starting things off for the White Sox here in the top of the third. He ended up getting a base hit his last time up. I know some people are going to think, Josh, why do you sound tired today? Why do you sound like you're on something? And that's because I am tired. I'm always tired. Grounded to third, one away. Hopefully you guys had a pretty good weekend so far. I've had a pretty good weekend. Friday, let's see, Thursday, of course, I graduated college. Friday, I had just kind of a chill day at home. Saturday, got to hang out with a couple of my friends, and then today, I just got back from hanging out with my dad. So, yeah, that's what I did this weekend.
Ball.
Sinker, 1 ball, 1 strike is the count.
1-1.
So yesterday, I got to try this kind of like a new pizza place in town. It's not exactly new. It's been around for a while, but it's new for me. Like, it was my first time going there. We went to this place called Garcia's. It's in Champaign, Illinois, for those of you who are unfamiliar. And it's not too bad. It's not that bad of a place. It was kind of like a little, it was super dead when we went in there. Like, they look like they don't really get a lot of business. Like, it was me, and 2 of my friends. Like, I think we were the only 3 people in there, besides the the workers and stuff. But yeah, not bad pizza.
Second baseman, Josh.
And for all of my soda pop nerds out there, I don't know if it's just me or not, but okay, so you guys know how some restaurants have like Coca-Cola products, like for like fountain drinks, and then some have like Pepsi products. You know, like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, they all have Coca-Cola products. And then stuff like KFC, Popeyes, Taco Bell, they're all Pepsi. Well, most pizza places I've been to seem like they have Pepsi products. You know, Pizza Hut has Pepsi. I mean, they're owned by Pepsi. Little Caesars has Pepsi products. Domino's has Pepsi products. I believe Papa John's has pizza products. There's this place in Illinois called Monocle's. They have Pepsi products. And there's a pizza place in my hometown. It's called Crawford's. They have pizza products. Or not pizza, Pepsi. They have Pepsi products also. But the Garcia's place that I went to, they were one of the first, probably the first pizza place I'd been to that had Coke products instead of Pepsi products, which was kind of a first for me. I don't know if you guys have like local pizza restaurants that has Pepsi or Coca-Cola products, but most of the pizza places here in Illinois have Pepsi products. That was like the first time that I went to a pizza place and had Coca-Cola products. Yeah, it was like Coke, obviously, Diet Coke, Cherry Coke, Sprite, Barks, Dr. Pepper, Mellow Yellow, and Fanta. Those are the main Coke products outside of Dr. Pepper. And then for Pepsi, of course, it's just normal Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Cherry Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Starry, which is kind of like Sprite but worse. But a lot of people seem to like Starry. Starry is actually doing pretty well. Not A&W, Mug, and I think Orange Crush, even though that's a Dr. Pepper product.
No, that's
2-2 count to Edgar Cuero. With a runner at first for the White Sox, 2 outs. I don't know why I'm talking about soda products, Pepsi products, and Coca-Cola products in the middle of a broadcast. Cuero strikes out. White Sox leave a runner on. We are going to the bottom of the third. 2-0 is the score.
For the Cubs, the third baseman,
Vital Brujan, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker due up for the Cubbies here in the bottom of inning number 3. We have been live for 30 minutes on the dot. As I started this stream around 4:30, and then around 7:30, we're going to take a break. After this game, might go on a little walk, come back, and we'll do the Mets-Yankees game.
That's inside. Ball.
Inside 1-2. One and two.
Nope. Ball.
And the count is 2-2. And a drop third strike throw down by Cuero is in time. That is out number 1. Strikeout number 4 for Jonathan Cannon. Here is Pete Crow Armstrong, former first-round pick by the New York Mets. In 2020, I believe, is when he was drafted. And then was traded over to the Cubs in 2021 for Javi Baez. Baez out in Detroit. I know he's been kind of like a meme. It seems like whenever I watch like Tigers highlights, Javi Baez is always is doing really well. Seems like he's having like a really good year this year. Well, the Tigers this year are the best team in baseball, so
That's a ball.
makes sense. But yeah, good for Javier Baez. Glad to see that he's doing good this year. After just being terrible the last couple of years in Detroit. But 2-2 to PCA. Whoa, look out. And about hit him in the leg. So he is aboard. Hit by a pitch. Kyle Tucker struck out his last time up. That is fouled off. The count's 0-1. Kyle Tucker, followed up by Seiya Suzuki. So yeah, after we had our little pizza dinner, we end up going to this, end up playing some mini golf. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty solid at mini golf. I don't mean to brag. I'm usually pretty decent at mini golf. I've been playing mini golf since I was like 11. Not like professionally or anything, obviously, but I've been playing it for quite a while. I used to play a lot with my dad. I play a lot with my buddy. Well, my buddy Connor, we play quite a bit, and then my buddy Braden, he was a third person that joined us. He was playing mini golf for the first time yesterday, and he ended up getting a hole-in-one on one of the holes, which was pretty cool. Even have a video clip of it somewhere on my phone, because we were taking videos of each other. So we were going to make like a little highlight reel. Ball 4 to Kyle Tucker. 2-1, 1 out for the Cubs in the bottom of the third. Here is Seiya Suzuki. Oh my goodness. I promise, guys, I'm not drunk. I'm not high. I don't have a hangover. I'm good. I'm just exhausted. 1-0 count to Suzuki. But yeah, that's what I did yesterday, and then today I had some nice supper. Went out for lunch with my dad, had some Mexican, and then had some ice cream. Yeah, I gotta love some good old ice cream. 3-0 pitch to Cuero. Or 3-0 pitch to Suzuki's. Cuero was able to keep that low in the dirt. 3 balls, 1 strike to Suzuki. Fly ball to center. Rivera is there to track it down for out number 2. And so that will bring in Michael Busch, 0 for 1.
The first baseman, Michael Busch.
Grounder to second. And the inning's over. End of 3 here at Wrigley Field. 2-0 White Sox is the score. 7, 8, 9 hitters do it for the White Sox here in the top of the 4th. Elko, Baldwin, and Michael A. Taylor. I'll do up first Colin Ray. First pitch is a strike. Cade Horton and Drew Pomeranz already warming up in the Cubbies bullpen. Colin Ray been in the major league since 2015, originally drafted by the Padres in 2011 out of Indiana State.
1-1.
He was an Indiana State Sycamore. I think that's what they're called in Indiana State, right? They're the Sycamores? Yeah, they're the Sycamores.
Nope, ball.
Made his debut with the Padres in 2015. Then he split 2016 with the Padres and Marlins. Did not play in 2017 due to an injury. He didn't play in the major leagues again until 2020 with the Cubs. Then he played 2021 with the Brewers. He played the last 2 years in Milwaukee, and then he was coming over to the Cubs this year. For 2025, there's a grounder, 1 away. One out here is Brooks Baldwin hitting .214. Chopper to Swanson. 2 away. Back-to-back groundouts here in the 4th inning. Here's Michael A. Taylor. There's a strike, 0-1 to the veteran center fielder or outfielder. Well, yeah, he does play center field, but he's playing right field today, but he came up as a center fielder, so yeah, I'm not wrong there. There's a strikeout for Colin Ray. That is his 3rd. As we go to the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 White Sox.
Leading off for the Cubs.
Josh Wright doing the play-by-play in this one. It's our Sunday night MLB The Show simulation game of the week. One of 2 games today. White Sox and Cubs going on right now. And then later today at 7:30. We'll do the Mets and Yankees.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Yankees and Mets. Max Fried versus David Peterson. Those are the 2 starters. Grounder to first. Cannon racing to the bag, covering for the out, and that is out. Number 1.
Swanson.
One out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring in Dansby Swanson. Circle change, strike 2. Debatable call there. That's not debatable, however, because he swung and missed. Strikeout number 5 for Jonathan Cannon. Two outs, and here is Moises Ballesteros. I'm going to butcher the shit out of that name. Excuse my language. But we're going to butcher the crap out of that name. Sinker, 1 ball, 1 strikes to count.
No, that's it.
Grounder to short. Into 4. Here at Wrigley Field. White Sox will have the top of their order due up in the 5th. When we return, they lead 2-0.
Pitching for the Cubs.
Colin Ray is done after 4 innings, and so coming in out of the bullpen will be Cade Horton. Fixing my hat.
Leading off for the White Sox.
Funny, I'm doing a White Sox Cubs game, and I'm wearing my St. Louis Cardinals hat. Strike 2
0-2.
to the White Sox shortstop.
1-2. No, that's down.
Colin Ray is done after 4 innings and 78 pitches thrown. Horton strikes out. Strikes out Chase on a slider.
Vargas.
As out number 1 here is Miguel Vargas. Mydroth, I think, was the name. Either way, he strikes out.
No balls. 1 strike.
1 out. Here's Miguel Vargas, former Dodger, came over to the White Sox last year in a trade.
1-1.
That is fair to right field, a base hit.
Now batting, the designated hitter, Josh Palacios.
That is hit number 5 in this game for the White Sox.
He's in there.
And they'll bring in Palacios, who had the first hit of the game for the White Sox, believe it or not, back in the first inning. He then scored on a home run hit by Luis Robert. And he's got a 1-2 count. I did not mean to pause. I meant to see how many people in the stream. Looks like we got 1 person so far. It's probably me, because I was checking to see what was going on in the stream
Ball. Outside.
earlier. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Promise I'll be more motivated to do the Yankees and Mets game. Ball gets away from the Cubs catcher. Runner will stay put at first with 1 out. Gained a subscriber today. Let's go. Which reminds me, guys, if you guys are new here, if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys love the content you guys are seeing, make sure to leave a like. Best way to show your support, subscribe. If that subscribe button is red, click that subscribe button, as we are on the road to 500 subscribers. We're trying to get that at the end of 2025. So let's try and do that, please, and thank you. Luis Robert, 1 for 2, has a home run that he hit back in the first inning. Pokes that one foul, and the count is 0-2. Runner at first for the White Sox is Miguel Vargas. 2 outs. We got a guy in the back there eating a hot dog with in the red Cubs jacket, and then there's a lady eating a pretzel there. That's probably like one of my favorite things about MLB The Show, is just watching people in the crowds like eating like random food, like pretzels and a hot dog and stuff. And Robert strikes out. Cade Horton. Scoreless fifth inning for him as we go to the bottom of the fifth. White Sox lead the Cubs 2-0.
Leading off for the Cubs,
Nico Horner
Nico Horner.
leads off for the Chicago Cubs, and Vidal Brujan and Pete Crow Armstrong are up next. Are all due up for the Cubs in the fifth. There's a sweeper,
1-1.
and the count is 1-1. Now the people who are eating the hot dog and the pretzels are on their phones.
Now
Say, dude, get off your phone, watch the game. I understand it's Cubs and White Sox. I get it, it's not the most entertaining game in the world, but still, come on, man. When you're at a sporting event, put the freaking phone down. Like, I'll admit, I'm bad when it comes to being on my phone. But when you're at, like, a live event, like, dude, put that thing away. Put it away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Vidal Brujan. I believe this guy used to be with the Rays. And then he came over to the Cubs in a trade. 2-1's the count. Sweeper, 3-1. Fouled off, and it's 3-2. Ripped into right field. Taylor's going back. And this one is gone! Vidal Brujan puts the Cubs on the board. A solo homer to right field. And it's a 2-1 ball game. That'll bring in Pete Crow Armstrong. 0 for 1 here today, so the Cubs are finally on the board. It's 2-1. I think there was one time I was playing Road to the Show. I don't remember which game it was, but I was doing I think my character was playing for the White Sox, and we were playing a game versus the Cubs. And there was a guy sitting in the crowd. He was wearing a White Sox hat and I believe a Cubs jersey. In the left field, that is going to be caught for out number 2. By Brooks Baldwin. But yeah, White Sox hat, Cubs jersey. Can't really do that, but I don't know. I guess it would be the same as like wearing a Mets hat, Yankees jersey in New York. Like, I don't think that's going to fly, bud. Sorry. Like, thanks for repping the city of Chicago. Like, I appreciate it, but I mean, come on. You can't wear...
That's out.
You know, White Sox hat, Cubs jersey. If that was like, you know, Bulls hat, Cubs jersey, that's, I guess that'd be different because it's like different sports, but I don't know. I know some people might have different opinions on that. 2-2's the count. Struck him out. End of 5. 2-1 is the score of Vidal Brujan with a home run to right field. And we go to the 6th inning now here in the north side. Josh Rojas leads off. This has been kind of a slower game. 2 lefties warming up in the Cubs bullpen. Cade Horton is back on the mound.
Hee-haw.
Fastball taken, 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. There's one into the gap in left center field. And it's going to be a leadoff 6th inning double for Josh Rojas.
The catcher, Edgar Caro.
So Rojas has his 2nd hit of the night, his 3rd time getting on base. And so Edgar Cuero comes in. He's walked and struck out in 2 trips to the plate. There's a base hit into right, never mind. Catch is made by Kyle Tucker.
Now batting, the first baseman, Tim Elko.
So that is out number 1. Here's Tim Elko, 0 for 2. Elko, what a name. His parents are Mr. and Mrs. Elko. See, Tim Elko hits one to right center field. Tracking it down is Kyle Tucker. Back-to-back flyouts to right field with 2 outs here in the 6th. Tim Elko, 10th round pick by the White Sox in 2022. Went to high school at Hillsborough High School in Tampa, Florida. Went to college at Mississippi.
1-0.
So he went to, I think, Ole Miss. 10th round pick in 2022 by the White Sox, and then made his debut this year. It looks like he's had some pretty solid seasons in the minor leagues. He was pretty solid this year so far in AAA. He was really good in the minor leagues. Grounder to Bush, and we go to the 6th inning. Or bottom of the 6th inning. Seiya Suzuki, Michael Bush, and Carson Kelly due up for the Cubs, and we return. It's 2-1. 2-1 White Sox as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jonathan Cannon still pitching strong for this White Sox team. I have no idea if they have anybody warming up in their bullpen. Obviously the Cubs do because, well, they went to their bullpen early in this game. There's a base hit for Seiya. I imagine the White Sox will go to their bullpen here pretty soon, as I don't know how much longer Will Venable will have his starter out there. Here's Michael Bush. First pitch sinker, and Bush let it go by 0-1. Probably an instant regret not swinging at a pitch that's super hittable. Like right down the plate. I'm sure that's an instant regret for so many players. Like, man, why the heck did I not swing at that? That would have been gone. There's a fly ball to right. Bush got under it just a little bit as Taylor tracks it down in deep right field for out number 1. 1 out. Here's Carson Kelly. He has 1 of 3 hits in this game for the Cubs. That 1 hit that he got came in the 2nd inning. First 1 out. There's a fastball. Ball 1. What? They're going to call that a ball? All right, whatever. 1-1
1 ball, 1 strike.
is the count.
Ball. 2-1.
2-1 is the count. Runners going, throw down, and safe at second is Suzuki. Now the Cubs move a runner over to in scoring position with 1 out. Sweeper, full count to Kelly. And Dansby Swanson's on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sinker, base hit into right field. Here comes Seiya. They're going to hold him at third. First and third, 1 out.
Now batting, the shortstop, Dansby Swanson.
Will Venable popping out of the dugout, and that might be it for Jonathan Cannon.
Pitching for the White Sox,
Coming in relief now is Gomez. Gotta love that 7.16 ERA. He'll be brought in to face Dansby Swanson. Cubs have the tying run at third. The go-ahead run at first. The White Sox looks like they've got their defense set up kind of for a double play. As you can see, they got their first baseman holding the runner over there. Holding Kelly at first. There's a double play, ball 1. And got them both. Well, I was saying how the White Sox are looking for a double play. There's that double play. Nice turn by Miguel Vargas. End of 6 here at Wrigley Field. 2-1 White Sox is the score. Drew Pomeranz, a left-hander, a veteran left-hander.
now pitching for the Cubs. Number
Comes in
45,
relief here in the top of the 7th. He will face Michael Taylor,
Pomeranz.
who's 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks. Started off. Count is 0-1 on a 2-seamer. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, and a knuckle curve. That is the pitch selection that MLB The Show 25 has given Mr. Pomeranz. I'm pretty sure he can throw more pitches than that. And Michael Taylor 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Batting number 10, shortstop, Chase Mindroth.
And so Mindroth, who is 1 for 3 with a grounder to first, a base hit in the second, and a strikeout in the 5th, will be due up for the 4th time. Oh, and 2. There's a little flare out to right. Making the catch is Tucker. 2 away.
Now batting, the third baseman, Miguel Vargas.
That's a ball.
That is taken for ball 1 to Vargas. Fly ball to left. And it is time to stretch here at Wrigley Field. Of course, we got to do the the lovely tradition here in Chicago where Harry Carey sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Take it away, Harry.
This is the last time this year, so let me hear you. Good and loud. All right, Gary. On one. On two. On three. Hey, we out to root for
Gotta love Harry Carey, man.
Now pitching for the White Sox.
I don't know if the Cubs still do that or not, if they're losing, but I know they did it. I know at the time they did it when Harry Carey was announcing, and if they were losing, they still sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." So
1-0. Nope, ball. 2-0.
two and 0 the count to Ballesteros, as the Cubs have the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up. White Sox also going back to their bullpen, bringing in a left-hander. Fastball, base hit into center field. I think Harry Carey gave this Cubbies his lineup some encouragement, some motivation, some would say. Here's Nico Horner, as the Cubs have the tying run on again. White Sox are 9 defensive outs away from winning this game. There's a fastball. 1-1's the count. Steve Wilson, Miguel Castro, a very skinny Miguel Castro, warming up in the White Sox bullpen. I know some people are going to find that amusing that I called Miguel Castro skinny. Well, in the past, and I do like rebuilds and stuff, like off YouTube and stuff, and sometimes I'd trade for him or sign him. And he's usually not very skinny. He's usually kind of a bigger dude.
That's the ball.
Counts full,
Got the count.
with Vital Brujan due up next. The 3-2. And that is fouled off. Brujan on deck, and then it will be Pete Crow Armstrong. That's into right field. That is going to be caught by Taylor for out number 1.
Now batting, the third baseman.
Horner with 3 flyouts in this game, 2 of them to right field. That'll bring in Vital Brujan, who had a home run in his last outing,
1-1.
or in his last at bat. And a base hit to right field in his 3rd at bat of the game. Over to second is,
Now batting, the center fielder.
and it's 2-1 with 1 out. Now bring in PCA, hitting .285, hitless in this game. There's a 2-seamer, ball 1. 1-0 is the count. This crowd on their feet here at Wrigley. That is fouled off, 1-1. One ball, one strike. Swing and a miss on a changeup, 1-2. There's one hit, foul. First and second, one out. Tying run at second, go ahead, run at first. There's a strikeout. 2 away.
The right fielder, number 30, Kyle Tucker.
Now bring in Kyle Tucker. Struck out twice. Walked once in the third inning. Fastball, strike one. We come back for the 8th inning. White Sox will have the middle of their lineup due up. There's a base hit. It gets through the shortstop. Runners coming around to score. And we are tied at 2. Venable popping out of the dugout again. And he is going to go to Steve Wilson. Try and get the final out here in the 7th. As the tying run is scored for the Cubs. With 2 outs here in the 7th. Here's Seiya Suzuki. 1 for 2 with a single and a walk in this game. The 0-1. Sweeper, strike 2.
0-2.
It's my baseball glove. Here's the 0-2. Suzuki, flare out to left. Baldwin is there. And at the end of 7 here at Wrigley Field, the Cubs have tied it up on a single hit by Kyle Tucker. More baseball coming your way. Game's tied at 2. Drew Pomeranz will stay in the game here in the 8th inning. He will face Palacios, Luis Robert, and Josh Rojas here in the 8th inning. Palacios tried to lay down a bunt on an 0-1 count, and now it's an 0-2 count.
1-2.
Knuckle curved, ball 1. Ryan Presley and Caleb Thielbar both warming up in the Chicago Cubs bullpen. We might do another Cubs game for our simulation game in the month in June. We might see then go to Cincinnati. We'll do a Cubs-Reds game in Cincinnati. Still undecided about our schedule for the month of June. There's a little flare out to left field, base hit. Great way to start things off for the White Sox here in the 8th. As I'll bring in Luis Robert, had a home run back in the 1st inning. Those are the only 2 runs the White Sox scored in this entire game. Knuckle curve, ball 1. 1 for 3, 2-run homer, as we mentioned before. Pomeranz checks on the runner at first. Strike 1.
1-1.
We'll be back here in a little bit. We'll do the Mets and Yankees game. We're going to take a little break, come back, finish off our little doubleheader.
That's the ball.
That is taken for ball 2.
Balls, 2 strikes.
When we made the schedule for the month of May, we knew we had to do a little bit of a doubleheader. Like, we knew we were going to do White Sox Cubs. And then when I saw that we were doing that the Mets and the Yankees were playing this weekend, I'm like, oh, well, we got to do Mets and Yankees too. Then our final game in the month of May will be on the 25th. Little American League East rivalry, Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. Fastball called strike 3 on a pitch that was outside the zone. Oh my goodness. 1 out here in the 8th. Here's Josh Rojas. Hitting .216.
That missed. That's a ball.
2 for 2. He has a walk, a single, and a double in this game so far. He only got batter in the White Sox lineup. The Cubs have not gotten out so far. Fastball taken 1-1. There was this one time I was calling a doubleheader for my old college softball team. We were doing a doubleheader, and the opponent team, their leadoff hitter, my college that I was playing, they could not get her out. And I kind of made a comment, well, Josh Rojas just struck out. And that is out number 2. On a nasty swing, too, way outside the zone. So here is Edgar Cuero. But yeah, they couldn't get her out the entire game in the first game, and then same thing for the second game, and then I kind of jinxed her because I think it was in her 3rd at-bat, she flew out to right field. She either flew out or she grounded out. I can't remember, but what I will remember is Edgar Cuero hitting 1 out to center field. PCA makes the catch, and let's see what the Cubs can do in their half of the 8th. As this game is tied at 2. 2 runs on 7 hits for both teams. Michael Bush, Carson Kelly, and Dansby Swanson are all due up. 1 pitch grounder to second. 1 away.
Up next for the Cubs.
That'll bring in Carson Kelly, 2 for 3 with 2 singles.
Via. 0 balls, 1 strike.
Grounder too short, and that is out number 2.
The batter number 7, shortstop Dansby.
2 ground outs so far in this half of the inning. Here's Dansby Swanson.
Via. No balls, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes.
And strike 3 call as we go to the 9th. Here in Chicago, game's tied at 2. Ryan Presley comes out of the Cubs bullpen.
Now pitching for the Cubs, number 55. Pitching for the White Sox, number 50, Lenny Sosa.
There's a strike. 0-2 to Sosa. He's coming in to pinch hit.
Now batting, left-hander Brooks Baldwin.
Ball.
Sosa strikes out. Here is Brooks Baldwin.
That missed. That's a ball. 2 balls, no strikes.
2-0's the count.
Oh, yeah.
Down the line, foul. It's 2-2.
Count is full. Ball 4.
Ball 4 to Brooks Baldwin.
Now batting, right fielder Michael A. Taylor.
1 out here in the 9th. Here's Michael Taylor.
Ball. Two no's to count.
There's a pop-up. 2 away. Michael Taylor was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and I'm pretty sure even with a little pop-up, at least he was excited to make contact with the ball.
Hey! It's 0-1.
Here's the 0-1.
Nope, ball.
Taking 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Fly ball to right. Tucker's there. We're going to the home half, or the bottom, the home half of the 9th. The 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for the Cubs when we return. I've not really seen a lot of walk-offs so far this year. Would be cool to see one here.
Now,
In this game, Cam Bouger comes in out of the bullpen.
Cam Bouger. Leading off for the Cubs.
And the White Sox bring in a new guy to play first base.
Ballesteros.
Ballesteros leads off.
Change for the White Sox. Now playing first base. Number 29. Matt Dice.
Matt Dice playing first base for the White Sox. Cam Bouger, a left-hander, will face Ballesteros. Started off here in the ninth, 0-2 count. I think we saw one walk-off so far. This year is the Braves-Padres game. There's a little flare out to left, and that's going to drop for a base hit. And the winning run is aboard for the Cubs here in the ninth.
Second baseman.
I thought he was going to go to second, but he didn't. He didn't. So here's Nico Horner. Fly ball to shallow center. Robert is there. He's going to make the catch for out number one.
Up next for the Cubs.
Nico Horner's flown out to left. He flew out to right, and he flew out to center.
Number 5.
So here comes John Birdie. In a left center field, a base hit. Runner will move to second. Two one. With one out for the Cubbies. In the bottom of the ninth, here's Pete Crow Armstrong. Fouled off down the line, 0-1. Fouled off 0-2. Pete Crow Armstrong, 0 for 3. Was hit by a pitch in the third inning. Drop third strike. That's out number 2. Last chance for the Cubs to put away the White Sox before going into extra innings. Now bring in Kyle Tucker, 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Let's see what he can do here with 2 outs in the ninth and with runners at first and second. Grounder to first. And we are going into extra innings here at Wrigley Field. Cubs leave runners on. We go to the 10th.
Leading off for the White Sox.
And we are tied at 2.
Miguel Vargas.
Ryan Presley stays in for the 10th inning. He'll face Miguel Vargas. The runner at second for the White Sox is, I believe, their shortstop. There's a strike going 2. I had the Go Cubs Go song ready to play in case if the Cubs walked it off, but nope, we got to keep playing. There's a strikeout, 1 away.
The batter, the designated hitter, John Palacio.
See, in the hockey world, Dallas Stars are heading back to the Western Conference Finals. Thomas Harley had a game-winning overtime goal. Kind of nice to see the Stars beating the Jets because that's how I'm a Blues fan, and so that's how the Blues lost. They lost in overtime against the Jets, so glad to see the Jets kind of get a little taste of their own medicine. Dallas Stars will play the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference Finals, and then we'll see the Maple Leafs play, or the Florida Panthers play the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 7 of their series is tonight on TNT, True TV, or HBO Max. While Game 7 of the Nuggets Thunder series is on ESPN. There's a strikeout, 2 away. I might end up watching that game
Now back.
if that's cool.
Luis.
And kind of, I'll probably do Mets and Yankees tomorrow. Also, it might depend on how long this game's going to take. There's a fastball up high, 1-0.
1-0.
Don't think I've ever had a 2-hour long baseball stream. I know I've had football streams that take like 2 hours, but never really any baseball streams. I think the longest ones were like an hour, 30 minutes. Here's the 1-1 to Presley. 1-2 is the count.
Ball.
That's a high, ball 2 from Presley. He's pitched with the Twins. He's with the Astros. This year he is a Chicago Cub. And another one fouled off.
Ball. Count is full.
The 3-2. Fouled off again.
That's ball 4. Take it
All
back.
4. Runners at first and second. Here comes Craig Counsell
Now pitching for the Cubs.
to bring in
Number 24. Caleb. Thielbar.
Mr. Caleb Thielbar. Here's Josh Rojas. 2 on for the White Sox, 2 outs.
That's
Ball 1.
Inside. Ball.
Inside, 1-1. That is fouled off. And it's 2-1. Fouled off. 2 balls. 2 strikes.
Full count.
And now we got a full count.
Inside. Ball 4. Take your base.
And ball 4, so the White Sox have the bases loaded. With 2 outs, here's Edgar Cuero.
No, that missed. That's a ball.
Here's the 1-0. There's a sweeper. 1 ball, 1 strike's the count.
Here. 1-2.
Grounder off the glove of Horner. A run will score, and it's 3-2. And the White Sox take the lead back. It's 3-2 here in the 10th. Off the glove of Nico Horner, the bases are still loaded with 2 outs.
Tag. No ball. 1 strike.
Nothing in 2 is the count. When we come back for the Cubs half of the inning, they will have Seiya Suzuki, Michael Busch, and Carson Kelly all due up. Solid game so far, for sure. And he strikes out, leaves the bases loaded. But the White Sox took a 3-2 lead. As we go into the bottom of the 10th inning. Jordan Leisure comes in to try and get the save.
Now pitching for the White Sox,
Seiya Suzuki
number 49. Jordan
is the runner at the plate for the Cubs. Kyle Tucker's the ghost runner at second. Down the line, and that's going to go foul. Have a few people watching the end of the game. What's up? How you guys doing?
Nope, that's low. That's a ball.
Here in about 90 minutes, we're going to go live again for Mets and Yankees. Seiya fouls it off, 2-2. Seiya Suzuki, my best friend's girlfriend's a big Cubs fan, and Seiya Suzuki, I think, is her favorite player right now. He strikes out, 1 away. Got him on a changeup, 83 miles per hour. And now bring in Michael Busch, 0 for 4. Changeup misses, ball 1.
That's down. That's a ball.
2-0 as Jordan Leisure having troubles throwing strikes to Michael Busch. 2-1. Tucker's the runner at second. 1 out. Here's the pitch on its way. There's a grounder to short. And the throw's in time to first base, and the Cubs are down to their final out. Here's Carson Kelly. He's 2 for 4 with 2 singles. White Sox 3 strikes away from winning this game. Probably not the most exciting game ever, but oh well, could be worse. Here's a 1-1.
That's a ball.
It is Pie, 2-1. I think the count's 2-1, right? In the left field, making the catches, Baldwin, and this ball game is over. The White Sox win it on the road, 3-2 is the final score. A 3-2 10-inning victory on the road. Cam Bouger pulls off with the win. Ryan Presley with the loss. Jordan Leisure comes in the 10th, gets the save. And it's a 3-2 White Sox victory. And that's all we got for you here on Let's Talk Sports. We'll be back later this evening for Mets and Yankees. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to take a little break, might go on a little walk, because it's a nice day outside. And on nice days outside, I probably shouldn't be playing video games all day, but it's whatever. That's all we got for you here in Game 1 of this doubleheader here at Wrigley Field. The White Sox win it 3-2. I'm your man Josh Wright signing off from the north side of Chicago.